It's April 2009 and this is the re-release of Photo Walkthrough episode number 1, Tutorial 1, Chapter 1. Ever since we first started Photo Walkthrough, the single most common request I've had was for downloadable versions of the original Tutorial 1. That's exactly what we have here. I've re-encoded those original files using our new modern encoding formats so that they look much nicer and they're in a format that you can download and keep. I hope you enjoy them.
Okay, hi folks, I'm John. I'm Floyd UK from the Tips from the Top Floor forum. A few of you guys asked me if I could do a quick tutorial on how I did the black and white conversion for this image you see in front of you. This is Weston Supermare Low Tide. And I decided I'd try something a little bit new. I'm going to do a quick video, see how this works out. I apologise for the message you see in the centre of the screen in front of you. It's a demo version of the software I'm using. It cost I think $200 to buy, and I'm not desperately keen to buy that without knowing that I'm going to use it again. So if I can ask you just to ignore the message you see in the middle, and I'll try and work around it. Right, the first thing I would typically do with an image like this is work on any spot edits and any noisy areas. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to work on the noisy areas of this image. So if I just grab my zoom tool and edit and zoom in just here, I think you can, if you're looking at the Shockwave Flash version of this file, you can see quite a bit of grain in this area of the image. It's not so visible here in the sand. Noises tend to be quite so visible in detailed areas of the image. One of the things that noise reduction software, such as the one I'm about to apply, can do is it can actually destroy detail in images where there's a lot of detail there already. So the noise reduction software I use is Neat Image. I'm not going to show you how to use Neat Image in this video, that's really outside the scope of this, but I have already got a Neat Image layer, so I'm going to be dragging palettes in and out of the view because I'm working really small to keep the file sizes small. So here's my layers palette, and you can see I've already got a Neat Image layer. So if I just drag this so that you can see the noisy section here, if I turn this Neat Image layer on, watch this noise here. As I turn that on, this noise cleans up an awful lot. Now, all I've done is I've done a relatively vigorous Neat Image on that image. I know what ISO that shot was taken at, so I've used the Neat Image profile for my camera at the right ISO setting. So it's done a reasonably good job of this. But even though it's done a good job of this, I still wouldn't apply that Neat Image to the whole image. I instead would apply a layer mask to this Neat Image layer, and I've mentioned layer masks a number of times on the forum. This button down here at the bottom that looks like a black square with a white circle on it adds a layer mask to the layer we've currently got selected. So if I click that, you see a layer mask appears there. We're going to keep that clicked on, and I'm going to use another trick here. If I just drag my tools palette in, you can see black and white. Black is our current foreground colour. So with that layer mask selected, if I hit Alt and Delete, that fills the layer mask with black. A black layer mask conceals all of the edits in the layer. White reveals, black conceals. So I'm going to fill it with black, and then I'm going to paint white on the layer mask in the areas where I want that Neat Image layer to appear. So if I switch to my brush tool by hitting B, and I switch to a reasonably large brush, I'm going to grab my Wacom tablet. I'm going to hit X to switch the foreground and background colours over here. So I've got white at the front, and I'm now painting white on the layer mask layer. So if I paint like that over there, you can see that I'm painting in, or you can probably see it on the Flash version. I'm not sure the AVI version shows this quite so well. Let me drag these palettes out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. And switch back to my brush. Let's get a slightly larger brush, and I'm just going to paint in the Neat Image all over these areas, also into the shadow detail, because noise can sometimes be quite visible in shadow detail. And on the front of the cabin here, this boat here is, I think, going to be one of the main things that people look at when they first view the image. So I'm going to just try and take out all the noise on what I think are the focal points of the image. I don't think I want a buttload of noise to be the first thing people see when they look at the image. The other area of this image that I think is safe to apply neat image to is the sky. So if I take quite a large brush, I'm just going to paint white over the whole sky. Skies tend to be fairly smooth gradients. Neat image doesn't tend to destroy any detail there that you're not particularly upset about losing. So if I just drag my layer palette back in again, and if I alt click on the layer mask, you can see there that's the layer mask I've painted. It's not perfect. I can carry on editing it in the layer mask here if I wanted to. Take that down a little bit, take it back up a little bit, and if I want to fill in some of the areas that I missed, I can do that here. The other thing I can do, if I alt click again, go back to the main image, if I alt shift click, I get this useful red mask mode, where I can now see on the image where I've missed. That's pretty useful. Okay, so alt shift clicking back on the mask again to get rid of that. So that's my neat image layer. The other thing I would typically do on a first cut image is I would spot edit out anything that I don't like the look of. So, for example, in this case, there's this little bird right here, and my favourite tool for doing spot edits is the Make It Go Away brush. That's not what it's called. It's had a small problem there. It's not what it's called. It's actually called the spot healing brush tool, and it's this one here that you get by hitting J. So if you hit J, and I'm going to create a new layer by hitting this little sticky note icon down here. That's just a regular layer, there's nothing special about it, it's not an adjustment layer or anything. Drag those back out of the way, and I'm just going to paint over the top of that little bird, and it makes it go away. That's why I call it the Make It Go Away brush. Sometimes works brilliantly, sometimes works badly. In cases like this, where it's just a little element in the middle of an area of relatively consistent colour, it works just beautifully. So that spot edit done on its own layer, I can turn that layer on and off. Something to be aware of with these cloning brushes and the healing brushes and stuff, you can clone onto a new layer like this. The way you do it is you tick this sample all layers box here, and what that will do is it will, when you're sampling, it will sample everything you can see, and you should be aware that that might include any layers above the layer you're working on. So if you're doing this, turn off any layers above the layer you're working on, and turn on the sample all layers, and it will sample from all the layers that are visible while you're editing, and it will paint the changes onto the layer that you're working on. So if you turn off that sample all layers, it will only sample from the layer you're working on. I pretty much have that sample all layers turned on all the time. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for this little tutorial movie. I'm going to save this, see how the file size looks, upload it somewhere, and get some feedback before I do anything else. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.
In May, I will be teaching some Photoshop Elements courses here in the UK in Anglesey. If you'd like to join in, or if you'd like to find out more, please head on over to the Wellshot website at wellshot.co.uk, and you can find out all the information there. It's a single-day course, absolutely packed with information on how to use Photoshop Elements to do exactly the kind of things that you see here on the show. I hope I'll see you there. Thank you very much for following along with Photo Walkthrough Tutorial 1. Again, this is a re-encoding, and I hope you're enjoying the better quality, and those of you that wanted to keep it can download and keep these files. Remember, you can get in contact with the show by emailing me at photowalkthrough@gmail.com, and if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, my username on Twitter is FloydUK, Floyd UK. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.
Photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the potosphere. Photocastnetwork.com